David Pakman for Pope, not my idea. Sir Darryl Roberts of the Sir Darryl Radio Experience is kind of lobbying for me to potentially be the next pope, even though I'm Jewish. I don't know if Darryl knows that. And he actually called up a Catholic store of some kind to find out what materials I would need in terms of like books and clothing and stuff like that. It's pretty funny. Let's take a listen to this. Now, remember, Darryl has a history of making up words during these calls. He shook the foundation of the English language a couple of years ago when he called an airline and referred to Lewis as a worksmith, which I think is a combination of a worker and a blacksmith in an explanation about why Lewis was bringing knives onto planes. Let's see if he makes up any words in this particular clip. And if he does, Lewis, we'll try to identify him. Let's listen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling the Catholic Company. How can I help?
How are you today, ma'am?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm well. I'm calling because I found your website. One of my colleagues directed me to it, and I'm just looking for a little bit of assistance. But I don't know whether or not you've heard, but the radio host, David Pakman, international radio host, people are just scammering for him to become actually the next pope.
There it is. That's the fake word, scammering. Scammering is not a word. It's just not. There's a scammer. There is a slang word, scammering, which is slang for a person who perpetrates a scam, but that's obviously not what Darryl Roberts is talking about here. So right away, we've wasted only 25 seconds in Sir Darryl Roberts making up a word, and we'll continue.
That we know that there's an opening there, and some of us that are supporting him, we want to start getting him up to speed. So I don't really know what books he would need to read, what things he would need to have, rosaries, jewelry, sacraments, things like that, that is going to be able to make him almost crash course study worthy of being able to at least be in a position to have the knowledge if for some reason he were to be nominated pope. Is there anything that you have where people who are really trying to have everything they would need in order to have the knowledge to be able to kind of get there?
To answer your question,
if you're just tuning in, people, we're trying to get David as pope, and we want to know what he's going to need.
The problem is, there's not necessarily like a category for like, here's the resources you need for this.
Yeah, and I mean, like when I look at the way the Pope dresses, I don't know whether or not those things are even available prior to one becoming Pope. Would we be able to get David an outfit similar to what the Pope wears, a hat similar to what the Pope wears, so he can even get?
We actually don't carry those types of products.
Okay. All right. If David were to become the next pope, he would need to be very versed in Catholic ideology and doctrine. So I guess books would be a great start.
So this call, as you can imagine, doesn't go that well. And then listen carefully here. It actually gets really bad when the woman here refers to Darryl as ma'am. And the call continues.
Lewis for pope. Maybe that would have gone over a little bit more smoothly. Yes.
Okay, so I'm being told just by coworkers that in order to perhaps get some more information, you might want to contact like the Vatican to find out more.
Okay, all right.
All right. Okay.
I see what you're saying. So the Vatican itself, would you think that maybe the Vatican might be able to get me the hat and the actual cloak that the Pope wears? Not the one that he has on his body, but just cloak. A version like that, so that we could put it on David and he could just kind of get more familiar with wearing it.
I have no idea, ma'am. I'm really sorry, but I definitely I don't have the answers.
Ma'am, I have no idea, ma'am. So things going from bad to worse for Sir Darryl on this call. First, he's not getting any help about getting me the Pope's cloak, which I don't even think is a cloak. And then he's referred to as ma'am by the person. He doesn't sound like a woman, does he?
No.
It's very strange. In any case,
I would like to see you in some Pope regalia, though.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So there we go. That's Sir Darryl's latest phone call.